Welcome everybody to Swish for Real. Uh, Tonight I got the producer in the house with me, and he's letting me lead it. Uh, don't forget to subscribe,
Subscribe, yeah.
comment, like. Uh, we're trying to grow the show, so we got a shorter version for you tonight. And how's life treating you, Mike?
It's been good so far, man. I've been working on this last film that I've been working on. I'm about to move on to another project. Excuse me, I'm going to hand it over to the guy who originally came up with the idea. So I'm just going to let him finish up and hopefully it'll turn out better than expected. But I got to move on to something else. And other than that, man, life's been good. I got my grandson here chilling with us, man, for a couple more weeks, and it's been a blast having him around. But other than that, everything on my side of the planet has been pretty dope.
Well, things are working well here. Still breathing. Another blessed day. I
Absolutely, that's good.
I know you probably caught some of that preseason game. What's your first impression of Cooper Flag?
Cooper, looking at him from I wanted the eyes closed because I was kind of in and out of watching it. Cooper looks good. I think he's not a superstar talent that we would want in reference to like a Luka Doncic, but he's a defensive talent that we need. You know what I mean? Because Luka gives you the offense and brings the people to their feet and give you everything that you want when it comes to an offensive juggernaut in just an individual person. But Cooper gives you a little bit of offense, but a lot of hustle. He's more like if you would consider a poor man's KD in some ways, but a defensive KD. You know what I mean? He can hoop, but he's not offensively talented as a Luka or a KD.
He doesn't. To me, I don't see quickness or speed either one, but he's efficient with his movement, and he may be one of those players where uh, I drew the comparison with somebody else the other day, Mario Lemieux. It didn't look like he was skating fast, but nobody could catch him.
Yeah.
And so Cooper might be one of those guys. He don't look like he's moving fast, but I still kind of favor the Andre Karolinko comparison.
Yeah. Yeah. I think offensively he's way better than Karolinko was. Not that Karolinko was a bad offensive player, but Karolinko, that wasn't his calling card. He was more of a defensive stopper. He play the best guy. He'll defend the best guy. So he was one of those guys that you would want on your team, Karolinko, when you had to do kind of like who we have, Deshaun Stevenson in 2011. So Karolinko would be comparable to him in a defensive mindset.
Well, the Spurs got Dylan Harper, and the West is going to be really stacked this year. I don't know
Yeah.
if Cooper will be able enough to get us over the hump or not.
Nah. Yeah, the West is something else, man. I don't know how Dallas is gonna fare in the West. They're really they don't have them they have them fighting with Golden State in reference to that last playoff spot. So I don't know where we'll land, but it looks like Houston's gonna be a little bit way better than we anticipate with them adding KD to the roster, getting rid of Brooks and getting rid of Green. So that's just been a difference maker for those guys right now as far as Houston goes.
Well, speaking of the the Western Conference, we're starting our third year of the podcast, and every year we give predictions before the season starts, and the season starts in just a couple weeks. So give me your top six, and then the four that are in the play-in for the Western Conference.
Well, naturally, you got to go with Oklahoma number one because they are young, talented. Even though I'm not a big fan of Shea Gillis because I don't really like his game like that. I don't know why. It's just something about him that doesn't scream to me like superstar. You know what I mean? He just to me he's talented offensively, but I don't know. Just he's an oddity. in my mind. So they would naturally be number one because they won it last year and they haven't changed much of the roster. So matter of fact, they have so many draft picks. It's hard for them to really not be number one because if they lose, they can always replace it. They can use a draft pick to even get a better player to just even ramp up what they got, especially with the team that they got now and adding what's the kid they got from Chicago? What's his name?
Caruso.
Caruso, yeah, Alex Caruso. They when they got him, that really boosted their six man, their bench. That bench needed something like that. So I don't see why they wouldn't go back to the Western Conference Finals. Now, who they'll face against in the Western Conference Final, I'm predicting Minnesota because Minnesota is not going away, especially what they have over there. I mean, they have a really talented squad. So now 1 and 2 would be that would be my two predictions as far as the Western Conference Finals. Third would probably have to be Denver. Denver is now not one of those teams that you can sneeze at. They to me are just above Houston, which make Houston number 4. So that would be my top 4, and then falling in the top 5. And I hate to say it, will be the Lakers. The Lakers, they what they had. I don't think Luka is the savior for that franchise in regards to getting them back to the promised land because they still need so many other pieces. So they have a good squad, but I don't know how Luka's going to get them over the hump because they're going to be lacking a lot of defensive prowess when it comes to trying to get to that hump. And so if you want to add some other squads to it, I would say round out Golden State will be number 6, Dallas number 7, San Antonio number 8, and Memphis number 9. That's who I think will probably it'll fall in that order as far as the West goes. So I don't see Dallas moving up anytime harder than where they are now in my prediction. So
So
um,
that's a good ranking, and I'll give you mine in a minute. Couple questions with a couple key injuries before the season even started. Van Fleet is going to be out for the year,
mhm.
and it was just announced today that LeBron has a sciatica nerve is going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks and will miss the season opener for the first time in his career.
Sciatica is something else, man. It's one of those nerve nerve pediments that it's just one of those weird things. I never had it, but sciatica just like ugh, I can imagine what he's going through.
So my question to you is with some of the, everybody knows Kyrie's out, but some of these other teams have had key injuries over the summer or in training camp. Do you think in the Western Conference, that's with Houston without Van Fleet is going to affect Houston, and Lakers without LeBron for a month is going to affect them?
With KD being there, that's going to be kind of a. It depends on what KD does game wise. Will he be more of a passer instead of an offensive a black hole? You know what I mean? Just keep the ball too much. I think he'll actually help them a lot in regards to getting into where they need to be in that Western Conference. I don't think he's gonna miss Fred too much because he still has that other kid that's pretty decent who's
Shepard,
um what's
Reed Shepard.
now not Reed Shepard, the kid that has a twin brother.
Oh, Thompson.
Yeah, Amon Thompson, that kid, he is going to be something that he's going to feel he what he does for me, even though he's not a legitimate ball handler, but he does all the tangibles when it comes to filling in that position for Fred Van Vliet. I think he'll be taking the ball up the court a lot, and he doesn't have to do a lot unless he's pressured. Then he has to get off the ball. But I think he's going to fill right back in for Fred Van Vliet, bringing the ball up the court, depending on Ime Udoka how he wants to run it. But all signals point to him being the point guard for a little bit of time, unless they get out there and find somebody that they can use to fill in for Fred until he comes back. So I'm really looking at Thompson to be that kid to fill in.
So every year, both conferences have like a surprise team. If I was going to ask you who would be a surprise team, who would be your surprise team this year?
Sacramento. Sacramento will be because they always right there on the cusp. You know what I mean? It's just always at the end of the season, they can't really push to the end of it. You know what I mean? They try, and with De'Aaron Fox gone now they gotta figure it all out again. But I think Sacramento would be your surprise. They'll definitely, definitely Sacramento because I don't see any other team, not even Utah, not even Portland, could really fill in that gap for a surprise team. But it's got to be Sacramento because it looks like they're able to push through every year, but they can't. So hopefully this will be the season for them to kind of be a difference than what they did last year.
I agree, and they got Zach Levine, so
Hmm.
he can score. Well, my top six were in this order, and uh, I have Oklahoma City number one, but it's going to be tough for them to finish 3 years in a row with the best record in the West, simply because they're the hunted now.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's different when you're hunting versus they're going to get 82 games. The other team's going to play their best game against Oklahoma City this year, all
Hmm.
year long. So I think you'll see them. They lost what, like 14 games last year. I think
Yeah.
you'll see them lose probably three or four more than that this year because there'll be some team that is the worst in the league, and they play their career games against Oklahoma City. Just playing. In football, we used to say it when San Francisco beat Dallas, to like, well, they just played their Super Bowl, but we'll be in the Super Bowl.
And
So
you know what's strange also about OKC is Dallas seem to always have their number regardless.
yeah, there's one that's one matchup that they don't want to. And then I have Denver at number two. Denver's really improved their depth. They traded Michael Porter Jr., uh, who is quite a talent, but he's injured. So uh, and they brought back a couple players. So I think they're going to have improved depth. They have the starting five. They've had for 4 or 5 years. They've had one of the best starting fives. Like a lot of these teams is going to depend on the health of Jamal Murray in this case. Uh,
Mm.
I have the Clippers at number three. You didn't mention the Clippers.
Yeah, I don't. There's too much controversy surrounding that team right now. I don't think they will be focused on basketball too much for this season because it really all boils down to Kawhi as always. And since they got Chris Paul back, so who knows?
But they had the highest average age in the league, so the oldest team. But that's a lot of veterans, and they got some depth. Then I had the Warriors at four. Uh,
Mm.
you got Butler been there uh,
Yeah,
a whole training camp, and they finally signed Kaminga, but they signed Stefan's brother Seth Curry, who's played for the
yeah, I
Mavs
seen
a couple times.
that.
So he only leads, as Wild Dog likes to say, he leads the league in career 3-point shooting percentage. So,
Mm.
yeah, if you double team his brother and he's on the court with him, it's like you don't want to leave him open. I got Houston at five simply because of Van Fleet's injury. I would have had them at two or three if it wasn't for the weakness at point guard.
Hmm.
And then I got Minnesota at six. So I got Minnesota down a lot further than what you have them. Uh, Mike Conley had to really uh, do the point guard full time duties. And he's starting to get up there, and they haven't really got a replacement yet, and don't have real draft capital really to. So the Ant Man is going to have to make another leap for them to, I think. But you got three solid players, and Julius Randle and Gobert and Ant Man. So
Yeah,
I
and Nazi was it Nazi
Nas Reed,
Nasri? Yeah.
yeah. So they lost a couple players over the summer because of salary cap, so their depth won't quite be as good. I have these four teams in order for the play-in. I had the Lakers, then the Mavericks, the Spurs, and then the Grizzlies. So,
Mm,
uh, counting out Memphis with Jaw Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., even though they traded Desmond Bain, uh, that's quite a bit of firepower. And Jaren Jackson can play both ends. He's on the defensive team last year.
yeah.
So that was my four teams for the play-in: the Lakers, the Mavs, the Spurs, and the Grizzlies. And then, like you, I had my surprise team was Sacramento. Uh, Keegan Murray, a couple years ago, the rookie had a really good year. You got Sabonis and you got Levine, so you've got some nice pieces there. Uh, and I don't think Mike Brown's not the coach anymore, but like if they can put it together and uh, they don't have a lot of depth for injuries, but they can sneak up on some people.
Yeah,
Uh,
you gotta watch out for him for sure.
and if you look at the preseason, uh, sometimes, like other sports, the preseason is kind of a predictor in basketball, which is rare. But the Phoenix Suns have been lighting it up. Uh, they've
They've been
been
playing really hard defensive for sure because they got some really good defensive players now.
they they uh they remind me of the Mike D'Antoni Phoenix Suns. You know, shoot with less than 8 seconds. But they
Mm,
play defense. So
yeah. And what are
so
your
that,
thoughts on Booker or being there for the long haul for us career wise?
what I think about Booker, same thing when I go to a Phoenix game. Overrated. Overrated.
So you think he's going to be a career Phoenix Sun, or you they'll eventually trade him, or he'll
Yeah,
just
he
be
just signed another extension. So, I mean, if you're going to build around somebody, uh, that's a good shooting guard to build around. And he can create his own shot. He can play a little bit of point, but they've been messed up. It's only been what 3 years ago they made the NBA Finals. So he's the only player left.
Mm.
They had Paul, Aiden, Bridges. Uh, so they,
Was that against Boston?
yeah,
Well,
they
yeah.
were down 0-2, or
Dang.
excuse me, they were up 0-2. They won the first two games, and then Boston swept, or was it Boston? No, it was Milwaukee.
It was in
It was
Milwaukee?
Milwaukee. Yeah, because Giannis had that block, that comeback block, when the guy thought he had a breakaway layup, and Giannis come
Mm,
out of nowhere and blocked it. So it was the Bucks. It wasn't Boston.
gotcha. That's
Speaking of
crazy.
Boston, uh, moving on to the Eastern Conference, what is your top six prediction for the Eastern Conference?
Ah, now the Eastern Conference, it's an anomaly, man, because every team besides Boston last year were pretty much up and down. Even the New York Knicks was up and down, so it's kind of hard to really predict the Eastern Conference. But since we're having this conversation, number one, I feel like New York will move into that number one spot in the East, and reason being because now they had Cat for one season playing with Bronson, and then they haven't really lost anybody from the New York Knicks, so they should be okay. I think they'll be one of the teams that people will dread to face against because offensively they're pretty talented.
So do you think Brown will do that much better job than Thibodeau?
Um, Probably. I think because he's not a bad coach. He's never been a horrible coach. He's just not, he worked with the talent that he's given, you know what I mean? And he makes the best out of it. And he brings teams to like really play hard for him. I don't know what he has when you come to the thought process of motivation. He's one of those guys I think is a great motivator, and he got that from Popovich. So he's out of that pedigree. So he might
Well,
just do
he
it.
also coached under Phil Jackson, if I remember right.
Man, if that be the case, then yeah, he's had some really good teams to coaches to coach under. So yeah, I think New York, in my opinion, will be number one. After them, it's got to be Cleveland. The Cavs, man, the Cavs, they can play. They have not disappointed me in the last 2 years since they got in Spider, Donovan Mitchell. They've been really playing really, really well with him, and he's really proven to be. He's a captain in that team. He's a star. He hustles. He plays a little bit of defense. He's not a defensive stopper, but he can play defense, and I appreciate that, especially watching him play. I really like him. I like Donovan Mitchell, man. I hate that he moved on from Utah, but it was necessary to see what he's doing with the Cavs is amazing. So I don't know if they decide to keep him for the long haul and let him finish his career out there, that'd be dope. But yeah, the
So,
Cavs is number two, in my opinion.
so let me ask you this: if you were a GM and you had to build around either Donovan Mitchell or Booker, who would you choose?
Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell.
Why? Why would you choose
Because
Donovan Mitchell?
for one, Donovan is a two-way player, and not to the sense where he's just a dominant two-way player on either end. He's more of an offensive player than he is a defensive player. You know what I mean? So I can see him really being a catalyst for any franchise when you want to build around a specific player. Donovan would be my choice. If I was a GM, I would choose him. Not saying that Devin Booker is not great in his own right, but if I had to choose between the two of them, it'll 100% be Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell hustles. He never gives up on a play. And
Not at
even when
all.
someone knocks the ball away from him, he manages to get it back.
Yeah,
So
he hustles, man. That's one thing about him. He's not shy about playing, So yeah, I would definitely choose him to build around if I was a GM for sure.
so you had New York, then Cleveland, then what's the rest of your
The Magic for sure. They're number three because they look good. They played very well last year in the playoffs. They turned some heads, and then they got my favorite player on the squad. So Banchero is going to show up every game. I like that kid, man. He's not Chris Webber in essence, but he's not bad at all. Chris Webber's a different story. Chris Webber is like who can defend Chris Webber for the most part. So that squad with the Franz Wagner's, those brothers, man, they bringing it, and then they added Bane, so that defense is going to be even more better. So I don't know who's going to be able to really, besides Cleveland, put Orlando out of the playoffs. So they're my number two. So I gotta put them up there. My number three will probably be a surprise for you. It'll be the 76ers. The Sixers, reason why, because Joel Embiid is always, always, always there when it comes to being a catalyst for that franchise. He's really, really plays hard. He's a hard nosed player. He's kind of fragile in some cases, and then sometimes a couple of years back he was mentally fragile. You know what I mean? But he got over that, and now he's one of those persons and players that you want to look out for. That's really going to make a difference between winning and losing, and defensively for sure, because he loves to play defense. Is he an offensive juggernaut? No. He a two-way player? In essence, yes. He's not bad at all. So I got them as my number four. And my number three, I hate to say it, is Boston. The reason why, because they lost a good player. I mean, and plus they traded their point guard. But like we talked about last time, with White still being there, they can still do some things. But Tatum, coming off that injury, it's a tough injury. Will he be able to get back to 100%? Probably not, but I'm pretty sure he's going to give it his all. And having Brown as his counterpart, his buddy and man in arms, that's going to keep that team going forward because he's a really good player in his own right, offensive and defensively. And Brown loves to play against the best player on the opposite team. He wants to guard that person all the time. So if you got that type of person on your roster, then how can you lose? So yeah, I picked them as my number 5.
And there was rumors that one of the reasons they traded Luca was because Brown shut him down in the NBA Finals. When the GM saw that, they were like, okay, they can game, they can game Luca out of it to where, and he still averaged over 30 points a game, but Brown did a hell of a job defending him in the finals.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. And so that'll be my top 5. That for top 5, that's what I pick. Now, this team, they have a great point guard, and he does not hesitate to shine in the spotlight. He's a little bit flashy on and off the court, and that will be the Charlotte Hornets. Man, they're going to be number 6, and I think that with what they got right now, they definitely can push themselves to be better. You know what I mean? It's just like it's always something with them, whether it be injuries or just players missing for whatever reason. It just doesn't help them to gel and be that top team that they need to be. They got a great point guard again, and Miles Bridges is always playing hard, so they don't have a bad squad. They just have bad luck in so many ways. You know what I mean? And I think if they can get past some of that downfall they had the last several seasons, I think they'll be one of those teams to reckon with. But they just need maybe another great center to pair up with Ball. And if they do that, then who's going to stop that squad? So yeah, that's my number 6, and my number 7. Atlanta. I hate to say that. Atlanta should be further up that list, but it's again, they're kind of like Charlotte. It's always something that doesn't keep Atlanta pushing forward. I love Trey. He's a great player, but I don't think
And
he
Dyson Daniels last year showed up for the
he
Hawks.
did. He absolutely did, and I think that what's the difference with them last year. But Trey, size wise, that's the only thing that really slows him down in regards to being like a superstar in this league. If he was, say, for instance, 6'3", 6'4", that would make him way more of a palatable guard, like one of those guards that you can be like, wow, that kid is really good. So I don't know.
Yeah, he's kind of a miniature version of Stephen Curry.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. The East
So
again is
who do you have as far as in the play-ins then?
Brooklyn for sure, because Brooklyn, they always, again, them being in in the same area code as the New York Knicks, it makes them kind of a little brother to the Knicks. You know what I mean? So they'll be a play-in, and also the Washington Wizards will be another one that may surprise a lot of people because they're not too bad. They just have, again, bad luck. So those would be my play-ins. So that's my list for the East. And I forgot to mention, if it wasn't for injuries, the Indiana Pacers, man, I don't know where they're gonna fall because they lost a lot of people. I mean, they lost a guard, they lost a center, and now they still got a great coach. And I don't know where they're gonna fall. It just, where would they fall is the question. I can't put them in. I can't place them.
The two most important positions, point guard and center, and they lost both.
Yep. So where do they fall? Do they might be a play-in if you can interchange between the Wizards and Indiana. So it's just a toss-up as far as that goes. If Halliburton comes back healthy, then you still have a great guard in him, but then you don't have that center that really held it down for you. So it's tough for Indiana right now. I hate it for Rick
Yeah,
Carlisle.
don't ever count out Carlisle though. He's
Yeah,
played
that's what I'm
without
saying.
centers in the Dallas area. He played without centers all the time.
Yeah. So that's why I don't know if they'll make the play-in or not this year. It's going to be tough to say. Uh, it depends on what they do. If they keep a 500 record and do it at the All-Star break, then if they make a trade somewhere and get something, then maybe they can push back and get back to maybe higher standings in the playoffs for next year.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of cap room to make too many trades without
Yeah,
trading picks.
yeah, but that's
And
that's my East for you. That's my
who is
predictions.
your surprise team in the East?
Uh, Miami. Miami. Reason why? Because they're Miami will walk up on you, man. They still have some great players. So Miami would surprise a lot of teams because they still have that Miami culture. That culture is what keeps them relevant,
Well,
especially in the East.
Tyler Hero is going to be out for quite a while, and he was their leading scorer after they traded Jimmy Buckets Butler.
Yeah, I still think Miami will be the surprise because they're the ones that you don't know what Spoelstra is going to do. Spoelstra is definitely going to push them where regardless. You know what I mean? And he signed that new contract as a coach, so you can't count Miami out. Miami could be one of those teams.
I think, and I actually got to see him play in the Hoop Fest that's held annually Thanksgiving. Khalil Ware
Hmm.
was a rookie center, and I can see Spoelstra moving him as a full-time center and moving Bam Adebayo to forward.
Yeah, that would work because both of them kids together, man, they'll solidify that backcourt for sure. That front court rather.
So I have a little bit same basic ones in last year. If you go back for the listeners, you go back. We've done this segment every year, and I was talking about Orlando last year, and I kept saying they're my surprise team. Watch out for Orlando, and of course they don't know if I'll get it right this year, but I got it right last year. So I still have the Cavaliers as number one. I think they're a great regular season team. They had some bad luck when it came to playoffs. He had a couple key injuries. Uh, Mobley is a beast on the defensive and offensive end,
Always, always, the
and
kid's amazing.
and Jared Allen, uh, Texas A&M kid, I believe is where he went.
Hmm.
Jared Allen is he's a underrated center, but it's one of those guys you can't sleep because he can light you up too. And you got Mitchell and Darius Garland. Uh, he got hurt and then he's in had got hurt the year before too. But when you got Garland and Mobley, it's like you better have some perimeter defense or they're going to smash it on you. So I have the Cavs at one. I have Jalen Brunson and the Knicks at two.
Mm,
I have Orlando at three. I have Kate Cunningham and the Detroit Pistons at four.
I like him.
Uh, I think Boston falls to five. I think they're still going to be respectable, but they lost every one of their centers. They didn't re-sign Horford. They traded Porzingis. They let Cornette go in free agency. They got rid of Drew Holiday. So those four players out of their NBA championship team, out of their top eight rotation. So that's going to be tough to replace. So you got Paul Pritchard's going to have to play more minutes now, but you still got Jalen Brown and Derek White. So they're not going to be terrible, but I don't think they're going to dominate teams and run away. And then Giannis Antetokounmpo,
Antetokounmpo.
the Greek freak, at number six. Even cutting Damian Lillard, I think Giannis is one of those special players that can he can carry a team if needed. He's
Mm,
and just a side note, Do you remember who in Giannis's rookie year, who the coach was for Milwaukee?
Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd. And the rookie coach for Cooper Flag, Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd. Yep.
He wasn't a coach when Luka was a rookie. That was Carlisle. So, and then I have these four teams for the play-in. I got the Hawks, the Pacers. Don't sleep on the Raptors. Toronto Raptors have some pieces.
Yeah.
And Scotty Barnes is coming into his own.
I like Scotty Barnes. He's a different animal when it comes to just he's really good. Superstar status, nah, I don't think he's there yet. Can he get there? Possibly.
He's a possible all-star. You know, they got Podol at center. He's serviceable. I just Toronto, I think, has kind of has some pieces to kind of get into that 9th or 10th spot. And then I got Miami as the last team for the play-in.
Miami, yep. See, it's a surprise for you.
And as far as the surprise team in the East, if I absolutely had, I couldn't come up with one, but if I had to pick one, it would be the Bulls.
The Chicago Bulls. They're not
The
bad.
Bulls.
The Bulls.
There's no particular reason. It's just they got rid of some big contracts. And didn't they get BI? Didn't Chicago get Brandon Ingram?
Yeah.
They got somebody. They
Now
traded. Well, they still have. They traded one of the guys they were paying big money for. So
I could tell you right now. I'm looking up their roster right now. Team roster, Chicago. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, they want me to buy tickets. No, I can't go. I can't fly to Chicago.
I would have the Wizards in there as a surprise team, but I don't. I think it's a year too early for the Wizards.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Brandon Ingram.
They traded for Brandon Ingram, if I remember right.
I don't see him on the roster.
Not on the roster. Okay.
I know they got Zach Collins. They got Nicholas Vucic, Daniel Terry, Kobe White, Javon Carter, and Josh Giddey. I don't see Brandon Williams. I see Patrick Williams.
Well,
and Isaac Okoro. This is Isaac Okoro. Wasn't Isaac Okoro with Cleveland?
It might have been. What was he at New York in that trade to get Bridges?
That's a good question.
He might have been.
Yeah. But I don't see
speaking of superstars, moving on to the next question. Who would be your top 4 picks for MVP this year?
For candidate wise? Oh, wow. Well, number one, you already know. I'm thinking this kid, if he does well with the Lakers, he could probably win it because he's been predicted to win it for the last 2 seasons as far as Luka Doncic goes. And he's been beat out by Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So I think Luka will probably be top 5 for sure. So it'll be Luka for sure. Shai Gilgeous number 2. Nikola Jokic number 3. And surprisingly or not, I would say Steph Curry number 4. And I think he's going to do a lot. And he's got a lot on his mind. And it's just like, personally wise, he's going through some things with his lovely wife. She's been making the rounds social media wise, and it's kind of been stressing him out. So I think you're going to put a lot into this basketball season just to get through this mental stress that his wife is causing him. And you probably have to look it up to see what's going on. So I would have him number 4. And then number 5, surprisingly enough, would be my guy, Not Banchero, which it was. I don't think he's there just yet. He'll get there. But the Ant-Man will be number 5 if you wanted to choose a 5 when it comes to MVPs, who has the best shot. But I think Luka this year will probably be the MVP coming in 2025-2026 season, just simply because I think he's going to put up some amazing numbers. I think LeBron's going to let him have the ranks for the most part. And as you said earlier, he's going to be out for a while with that sciatic nerve. So Luka's going to really have to carry this team. If the team doesn't do well off the bat, then it may kind of hinder his chances of being the MVP. That means, you got to have that winning record as well, and have those guys following your leadership, and you got to also play like a leader. And he did that in Dallas, so it won't be short for him to not do that in LA. So I think he'll win it with Joker being number 2 and then Shea being number 3.
So you mentioned number 5, the Ant-Man. What if
Mhm.
Embiid is healthy and plays the whole season and carries the Sixers to the top 4 seed? Would you still take the Ant-Man over Embiid?
Yeah, and reason why, because they trying to make the Ant-Man, in a lot of people's opinion, the face of the league. And he has the potential to be the face of the league, but he also needs to start performing a little bit more like the face of the league when it comes to his ability to lead a team. I think he's a quiet superstar, and in my opinion, he is a superstar. He's a quiet superstar. He doesn't give you that flash and dash. He's kind of a country kid. You know what I mean? He's from Atlanta, based in the Atlanta area. So he's Georgia. So I don't think he will win
Yeah,
it.
he's not a dun 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 dun. He's not an ESPN highlight reel kind of guy. But
He,
he
he
did
he
excel
can
on the
on
Olympic
occasions,
team.
though. You know what I mean? He has his
He
moment.
lets he lets Jaden Daniels do uh his smack talking.
Yeah.
You know, look at Dirk. Dirk wasn't flashy or on the highlight reel, and then he started doing the tongue wag like all of Michael Jordan. But
Yeah.
he won his MVP. He wasn't anything flashy.
Nah.
Uh, and I had we talked a couple weeks ago about the face of the franchise, and we mentioned several players. So for those that watch us, go back and watch that episode. It's a couple of episodes back. Uh, have you noticed how many national commercials Luca's been on?
I haven't really paid attention to it, to be honest. I
So
know he.
NBC is promoting that they're going to be showing NBA basketball, uh,
Mm,
and one of the featured players they've got on there doing the humming, one of the few, is Luca.
so
Uh,
this is a
he-
nationally televised game on NBC now?
yeah, they're going to have some national televised games on NBC. The new contract. Uh,
Nice.
So he's in a promotional video for that. He's been in a hot sauce commercial. Of course, Gatorade is pushing him. Uh, Air Jordan is pushing him.
Yeah,
Like he's gone Hollywood, you know. So
literally.
I imagine Mary Beth, his PR person, is getting some of those contracts. So uh, the we've said this before. I think last year we said such and such needed to win. Uh, an award for the league. The league needed, certain players to step up. And I think, you know, for ratings and broadcast, Adam Silver would love, he's not going to push it or say it out loud, but I think he'd love to see Luca win the MVP simply because it brings in eyeballs and it brings in money.
Now, the question would be for me, and this is just historical, how many European players, I can only name one off the top, has won the MVP, and that would be Dirk.
You
Has it been,
forgetting about
oh, and
Giannis.
nope, yeah,
Giannis won.
yeah, Jokic too. So Giannis, Jokic, Dirk. Who else? Well, Steve Nash is Canadian, so I don't. Yeah, so
Yeah,
they're not Americans, basically.
non-US born, but the list is short. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
All right.
uh, and there's some bias. So speaking of, you listed a couple point guards in there. Now I had SGA as repeat MVP.
Mm,
Joker had his best season in his career, and they didn't give it to him last year. It's the same reason. Magic didn't win, Bird didn't win, LeBron hadn't won multiple. The writers, after you get three, they're like, you need to be historically separate yourself from them to give you a fourth one or a fifth one.
yeah.
Uh, but I think he'll get some votes. But my surprise pick in the MVP, and not many are talking about, he already has an Eastern Conference Finals MVP and an NBA Finals MVP.
Hmm.
Wouldn't be surprised at the end of the year that you start hearing Jaylen Brown get some chatter for MVP, especially if Boston does really good. Uh,
Yeah.
Brown's going to get some notoriety for MVP. You know, they talked about Tatum, so those votes that would have gone to Tatum are going to go somewhere, and those writers that watch Tatum naturally are going to watch Boston. So I think Brown might sneak in there and get some votes and be in the top 4 or 5.
Yeah. And it's crazy though, looking at people who had the most MVPs. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had 6, Michael Jordan 5, Bill Russell 5, LeBron had 4, and Wilt Chamberlain had 4. And so it's been some really notable, and mainly
Yeah, and
centers for the most part.
Magic and Bird were somewhere around three or so. Yeah, for Jokic to get 4, you now are not against just current players. You're against the historical players that got 4 MVPs.
Yeah.
Uh, and speaking of point guards, we're every week we do a deep dive, and I was kind of thinking of different rosters and old school, new school, current players, and this player just kind of popped in my head because I know you like defensive players. So we're going to do a deep dive on Derek Harper, and I'm just curious to see what you'll say.
D Harp, Derek Ricardo Harper, point guard. Ah man, an Illinois kid, man, to be exact. He was not bad when it comes to he watching him in the 80s and when I was a little youngster. And that's when I really kind of fell in love with the Dallas Mavericks is when they faced off against the LA Lakers at the time when they had that juggernaut of a team with Magic Johnson, as we talked about, being the point guard. Derek Harper, man, he kind of solidified the point guard position for Dallas at the time. Even though he had made his mistake with, um, I think he ran out the clock accidentally.
Yeah,
If I'm not,
he thought they were ahead, and he dribbled out the clock when they were one
yeah,
point behind.
yeah. And I remember how excited everybody were around the city. That's when I really started thinking about like this is a really cool sport. You know, I wasn't even playing at the time. I wasn't hooping or anything. I was just kind of just a youngster, just watching basketball rarely. I didn't really all my friends watched it a lot, but I was not one of those kids. It wasn't until that game, that playoff series against the Lakers that I started really liking the Dallas Mavericks, even though I wasn't born in the city. My mom got here as fast as she could so we can be Mavs fans. But yeah, Derek Harper, man, Illinois, going there, is the 11th overall pick in 1983, drafted by the Mavericks. The point guard, 6'4", man. He's two inches taller than me, and he played a long time. How can we not give him his props, man? Now he's commentating for the Mavs on their broadcast and doing a great job. I like, and when he first started, he was kind of a nervous when he first started, but I think having Mark Followell sitting next to him and Bob Ortego at the time, you know, they kind of helped him out, and then now he's just a mainstay. He's always been really good at commentating, and him being a Mav back in the 80s again, it just kind of inspired me to really want to be more of a Mavs fan, play basketball, and then it just seeing him play for the most part. He was defensively very good defensively. He was a very smart point guard. To compare him to somebody, I would definitely I would say Jason Kidd in essence, but more so Chauncey Billups. You know, if you think of a good guard who plays defense and is not afraid to get in you, Chauncey Billups and Derek Harper kind of remind me of one another because they both were pretty big. They were both for not backing down, and they both could play. They both played good on either side of the court, defensive or offensive. So with Derek Harper becoming a Mavs, again, it only solidified the Mavs at that position where they really needed a good guard. Even though they had Brad Davis at the time, Brad Davis played well with Harper, and they kind of pushed Mavs to where they were in the '80s. So it was the Moody Madness was kind of one of those things that Derek Harper helped elevate and just made it come to fruition in regards to how good the Mavs were in the '80s. And he did have some players around him that also helped. We got a story on Roy Tarpley, which one of the centers that played at the time,
Perkins,
Sam Perkins.
Perkins,
Yeah, I'm tripping Perkins, and then
James Donaldson, Mark
James
Aguirre,
Donaldson, Mark Aguirre, and Mark Aguirre for sure. Even though he went to the Detroit Pistons and won
Pistons.
one with them,
Yeah.
yeah,
He
yeah,
also
yeah.
coming off the bench, they had Brad Davis and Detlef Shrimp and Dale Ellis.
Oh, they had a squad. So if you think about what he had then as a guard, it's no way they should have lost to the Lakers in seven. I mean, it just like one of those games, man. And I think when he ran that clock out, that'll put us up, and it would have been in the championship talking about, hey, the Mavs did it, and they did it within. They started when did the Mavs start in '82 or something?
1980.
Yeah, they so
Yeah, 1980. They were the fastest expansion franchise to make the playoffs. They made it in 4 years. But
yeah,
the league was a lot smaller, so the concentration and talent was a lot more too. Because Miami, Charlotte, Minnesota, Memphis, uh, Toronto, those were all expansion teams after the Mavericks started.
yeah, and
And I
again.
think Minnesota might have been one of the expansion teams too.
Probably was back then. With yeah, you're probably right. But to close out on my thoughts on Derek Harper, man. Again, I think he pushed me to be a good Mavs fan, a dedicated Mavs fan. Watching them again play against the Lakers in that championship game just kind of brought me to the realization that I'm a fan of basketball in general. So salute to him, man. His legacy it runs deep in Dallas, and I'm glad we get to listen to him at when we watch the Mavs on television. So hopefully that'll continue for a long time to come. So salute to you, Derek Harper.
So I've actually done an interview. I don't know if it's out there on YouTube, but after one of the Mavs game, Gina Miller and Derek Harper did post game interview with me. So I actually got to meet him in person, and
Nice.
he knew who I was, which is a big deal because until Dirk came along, Derek Harper was my favorite player. Uh,
Nice.
and so here's some of the unknown stuff. Uh, you know about the hand check rule, right?
Hmm.
So the hand check rule came in because of Harper. They said Derek Harper's armbar that he could steer you wherever he wanted to go. He was
Yeah, I
that
remember we
strong.
talked about that.
He was so strong and so good with his feet that he could push the guard where they didn't want to go. So the hand check rule, outside a certain distance, you can't put a hand on a player. But you go back and watch some tapes, and you watch Derek Harper use that hand for an armbar. Uh, and when he played, now he played 16 seasons, so he played well into the 90s. But when he played, the Western Conference was stacked with point guards. Let me just mention a few of the point guards. So he never made an All Star, and that's one of the things the Mavericks were always trying to
Wow.
do as a even as good a player. Maybe not great, but solid, good player. Magic Johnson, John
Yes.
Stockton,
Yep.
Gary Payton,
Yep.
uh, Kevin Johnson,
Michael
uh,
Jordan.
Terry Porter.
Yeah.
That's five
Portland.
point guard. That's 5 point guards that he was trying to get all-star votes for. He had to try to crack that juggernaut. I mean, you're talking between Magic, Stockton, and Peyton. You there's 3 Hall of Famers. Uh, of course, the Mavs did trade him to New York, and he got to go to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Uh, so the West was stocked with really really good, not just good point guards, but superstar point guards. Like when you're trying to get a all star uh, vote, you had several in the '80s to go through. There might be another player, but at the time that he did this, he was the only player to increase his scoring average for 8 consecutive years.
Wow.
So you can go back wherever you do your reference and look, but from his rookie year till his ninth season, he increased his scoring average 8 consecutive years. And I was there when they retired his jersey. There's only 4 jerseys in the rafters at American Airlines Center, and Derek Harper's is one of them,
Salute
along with
Derek
Brad
Harper.
Davis, Rolanda Blackman, and now Dirk. So that's rarefied air. His career stats: 13 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists a game. 16 seasons. His career earnings was 18 million.
Ah, dang.
Now these next statistics I'm going to give you, you'll love because he's a defensive player, and I know you coached and you like defensive players. 7 times he got voting shares for the all defensive team.
Nice.
3 times he's got voting shares for defensive player of the year.
Nice.
That's when the glove was in his heyday. 2 times he made the all defensive team. It was second team, but 2 times he made the all defensive team. And
Dang.
this last one will surprise you. Career career steals. He's 16th in the NBA in career steals with 1,957 steals.
Oh wow. So, I remember that I said him and Chauncey Billups are so close in regards to defense. So they remind me of each other.
His rookie year is like 5 points a game. At the end of the eight consecutive years, he was averaging 19. That's what allowed the
Dang.
Mavericks to move Brad Davis to the bench. Brad Davis was good enough that the point guard, he would have started on a lot of teams. Uh, so that really not only, as you said, he solidified the point guard, but allowed them to bring Brad Davis off the bench. Two solid players. So one last fact is that University of Illinois team, he took them to the Final Four.
Mm.
So props, Derek Harper. We hope you're listening. Uh, if not, if you know Derek Harper or you got his number, hook us up, give us a call, like us, friend us. We'd love to have you on the show,
Yeah,
DA.
absolutely. Yeah, I got hopefully me and Mark Followell trying to connect with him, so maybe he can help us out with that. So I'm asking him to reply back to me. So once he replies back to me, maybe we can make some connection. But we'll see what we can do. And we got Cerebro Sports, they'll help us out too. So maybe we can get them. We just got to keep trying.
Yes. So tell the people where they can find you on social media and what
All
platform.
right. Oh, say, man, I appreciate you, Boogie Bob, hosting today. It was fun. I love kind of getting into the mode of answering questions and being part of the aesthetics of Swish for Real. But you guys can find me out on X. You can also find me now on Instagram, and you also can find me on YouTube and just look up Mikhail Lampkin, poet director on any of those platforms, and I should pull up. So that's on X, Instagram, TikTok, and also YouTube. So I'm on all 4 platforms now. And I told myself I wasn't going to be a social media darling, because I'm not. I'm just doing it because I need to kind of motivate myself to put out more content in regards to my film, and as well as Swish for Real. So Swish for Real, you can find me there if you want to holler at me, talk basketball, talk movies. Hey, I'm there for me. So that's where you can find me, man. Appreciate you.
Well, you can find me on Swish for Real, or down here you see Boogie Bob. There's a YouTube page for Boogie Bob. But like, comment, subscribe. We're still waiting on someone to give us a comment that floors us, and Big Mike's promised to give a Swish for Real shirt out to
I don't have mine on today, but I'll give you the shirt off my back if you give us a great comment. Even if you're the first one, you tell us what you're talking about. If you got to the end of this video and you recognize we're giving away t-shirts, hey, you get it. We'll talk. We'll get you a set. Get you one of those shirts. You just tell her what color you want: red, black, white, or gray. You let me know. We'll get that to you.
Well, it's been a great show. Thank you for letting me host tonight. And Swish for Real. We're out.
Appreciate you. Peace.
That's it, Pray.